Wow, that's awesome.
Um,
A train wreck. I think that's a strange name. I've heard that before.
yeah. Um, ooh, what? Oh, cool.
What?
2.5 gram. Weird. It's one of the goofiest looking things I've ever seen in my entire life. One click where? Click what?
Take photo.
What the hell? Oh, what? Do you? Oh, there it is. Okay, look on text. Tell me this isn't the goofiest looking card you've ever seen in your entire life. Oh shit. Would you please fuck off and die? Jesus. There we go. Bro, this gas station is always dropping the weirdest shit. What the fuck is that, dude?
Whoa. No, that's a doohickey.
Yeah, for real. That's the doohickeyiest Sub-Zero doohickey I've ever seen.
So bright. It's like they wanted to make it like small and concealed, but they made it the brightest color.
Yeah. I like the design. It feels good in my hand. Like, very
Yeah.
ergodynamic or whatever.
It looks meaty, like really thick.
So apparently it's got that little one's got sativa and indica in it, and then you can make it where it does both at the same time.
Whoa. Or either or.
Yeah.
Wow. That's sophisticated. Right now I'd be smoking on that Everblade Haze.
What is that?
It's the strain of this cart. Seen the Dracula Flows videos?
I showed those bad boys to you. Yeah, they're hilarious.
Yeah. I heard from somewhere that Filthy
Joji.
Frank was a part of that. Yeah.
Apparently that's like a lie.
A lie? Did that flying horse kick you?
Holy shit! Holy shit!
Got some horsepower.
Holy shit! I'm not even like kidding or over exaggerating. I literally almost threw up just now. That was bad, bro.
And how many
But
seconds was that?
that was 3 seconds.
3. Good God.
So apparently this is something called THCA plus THC JD.
That sounds like a good sign.
It's called the TKO blend.
That's awesome.
That feels insane. Wow. Okay. Cool. What were you saying? Dracula flow? Yeah, apparently that's like a lie. I don't know though. I don't know that for sure. I just know that like I heard someone say that, and that person who said that Joji was a part of it, they were like, but apparently I looked into it and I can't find any evidence of that. I think was the just. So it was like maybe it's not a lie, but like whoever said that they thought that was true did some research into it and they couldn't find any evidence. I guess is the synopsis.
I've been duped.
But apparently that's like a popular
Oh,
rumors. What
it's
do you
yeah,
think?
it's enough where I can see a lessons in meme culture video called Joji made Dracula flow. So
So at the
either they
very
made a meme
least,
about it being fake or
yeah, at the very least, it's thought to be true. Um, okay, so
Learn more of their unconscious dispositions than if you were with a lot of people. But then if you're with a lot of people, you might get like a broader representation of components at at a higher organizational level, but you may never get to that lower organizational level. But then if you had access to a higher, um, if you had access to a
What?
broader amount of components at one organizational level, like more flavors of one organizational level, it might make you get to the lower organizational levels faster, is what I think. So yes.
What is he talking about?
So polygamy,
What's my boy
go
yapping about?
polygamy. Let's
Oh, go
go.
polygamy. Okay, yes, base.
I also think that like you could just focus on one person in a polygamous relationship and
Boom.
get to
Exact same
that
conversation we
person's
just had.
deep unconscious
Oh,
level.
that is
So
funny.
it's
We
like
just had
overall,
this. It'd be
everything
interesting
that could
to
be
hear
done
the
in
literal
monogamy
replay
can
of
be
this
done better
conversation.
in polygamy. It's just more efficient.
Yeah.
Boo. Just throwing a different hat into the ring. I don't have anything against polygamy exactly. I just my personal sexuality just goes that I'm not predisposed to find that to be appealing to me. Because to me, I would prefer to put all that energy into one individual. To me, I find that you'd get more out of that. And if you wanted to learn more about other people, then you could just do that by being friends with that person. And if you're not going to put all that love and energy into them in the first place, then I think you would just be using that person for sexual purposes. And I don't
Do
I
you think you still agree with that synopsis?
which is indeed
Um, it's true for me for right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I mean, there, I think you were a relatively clear, like, you'd just be using them for sexual purposes, which I would say that's like a conservatism, like that kind of mindset. Like, I don't think that's true. I definitely would not agree with that. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with personally doing a version of polygamy which looks exactly like monogamy, but think, I don't think that there's any moral loading to it. I don't think what would you say about that?
Moral loading. What is it? What does that mean?
So like at the end of what you just said, you said I am legitimately I am I'm bewildered by this. This is the most I've ever felt Sub-Zero in years. I swear to God, I feel more wrecked than I did off of the real stuff. I'm not even kidding. This is absurd. Where did that thing fucking go? That is insane. Look this up. THCJD.
Yeah,
What is this shit?
I've never heard of that before.
No,
And the
I've
fact that it has a
never.
dash in it, that sounded not
Yeah,
good.
yeah, not good. Yeah, I'm seriously, I am floating like I've never done it before. I haven't felt this since like years ago. This is insane.
What is it? Teachy JD or what is it?
Yeah, JD, THC dash JD.
Interesting. So we have very little knowledge about this substance. There's not a lot of published research on their effects, potency, or safety. They're in the early stages of exploration, but they're all over the online cannabis market.
Hmm.
You find this tail of 8 carbon atoms on the right-hand side of the diagram. Long chains suggest a greater binding affinity with human cannabinoid receptors, therefore potentially higher potency.
Wow, I am blown away. I'm sure this isn't gonna last. Like, I'm sure I'm just gonna get used to whatever this is pretty quickly. But wow,
Do you have
fucking
any of the
blown.
other stuff left?
Yeah, and actually, I got a new of the other stuff right now, so I can literally compare, um, exactly 3 seconds for 3 seconds, new for new. I
Yeah.
mean, direct comparison.
Maybe like strategically just mostly use the regular one and then use that one like when you're looking to nuke it.
Yeah, yeah, maybe, but then also that's there's technically less of that one, and nukes go by faster. So maybe use that one only in small amounts, and then use the other one specifically for nukes.
Yeah.
Blown
Whoa.
away.
Okay, so I think this would be the explanation. It says that THC-JD is 19 times stronger than Delta 9 THC.
Yeah,
Wow.
that about checks out. You know, that actually makes
Yeah.
perfect sense right now. Holy shit.
Fascinating.
Where did you read that?
This is from vaping360.com.
Well, that sounds like the least reliable source I've ever heard, but I mean, 19 times sounds right about where I am right now, so I mean, I don't know why I would not believe him. I wish we could see that from, like, doctors.org.
It does say take it with a grain of salt.
Like, yeah, I wanted to do that in his iPhone calculator. Like, how did he figure out 19 times?
Yeah, but it sounds like whatever it is probably like the best thing you can get from a Kentucky gas station.
Yeah. Okay, cool. CNN.com. Well, no. For some reason, J is not included. It's just TTC.
Wow. It was discovered in 2020, so it's only 3 years old as a
Damn.
substance.
Smoking up that toddler pack.
What? Wow, it is a runner-up to THCP, which is thought to be 33 times more potent than THC.
Wow. Well, I think it is, man. I truly believe it. It's like hard for me to talk right now. It's crazy. Wow.
But does it feel good?
I've never been a huge fan of a lot. I would say this: the fact that I could now do 1 second and get right where I want to be, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Right now, I'd say I'm a little bit fucking too out of it, which is
You're bewildered.
yeah, like, and that is insane. I mean, that typically would take me. I mean, you saw while you guys were up here. I mean, it's not like 3 seconds is typically.
Yeah, I don't ever hear you cough like that. I was like, oh God, what did you get?
Yeah. I mean, seriously, you never ever have heard me cough like that. That was insane.
And
Jeez.
that, like,
We should probably call because like I probably have a different view even than you, Jacques. Like I'm against even polygamous relationships in certain contexts. I just think relationships are kind of a bad idea.
True.
Like, I
Also
would just
true.
lean towards-
That is an extremely controversial.
Yeah, I'd like to talk.
We interchange over time. At the very least.
So do you
So
guys?
what do you think about this idea? I thought of this idea, and I think that this is unbelievably fascinating. I thought of it as like feints or mirages. So you know how in like Apex Legends there was that character Mirage, and he gets in a decoy of himself, and if you shot it, then you got punished. That sort of idea where it's like you're sending out a copy of yourself to get destroyed. Or like a feint where you're faking a left and you never actually throw it, and then you're just sending out that punch with no power specifically to be a decoy for something else. It's like a bait or like a bait framework, you call it that too. But anyways, the point of this was imagining like I called myself a communist for a long time, and I never read any communist theory, and it's like like what I meant when I said that.
That's like 90% of them.
Yeah, but like what I meant when I said that wasn't I'm a diehard communist. What I meant when I said that is like, I don't know, communist seems to be like, I don't know why it's wrong yet, so shoot me down. And that's what I think like a lot of positions are. And I think most people would say there's something wrong with that. And I would like to actively say that there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
As in, like, you should hold a framework until like it's disproven.
Yes, exactly. And that it's perfectly okay to take up the most extreme position just for it to get shot down as long as you're capable of giving it up. It is absolutely okay to hold a position just because you want to see how someone destroys it. That is okay and even great and intelligent. You should do that to learn more
and they
about why
actually
you're
can
holding
learn
those
from them.
positions. Yeah, you can learn from arguing something that you don't necessarily believe. You can learn from how they shoot it down. Like, there's so much data to be gained there. And I think that, like, a lot of my life, you can see clearly. Like, even now, I would say this take, if you meta-analyze it, this is probably a take that is a little bit of this, where I'm going uber extreme. I'm going as extreme as I possibly can because it's like, I don't know why I shouldn't, and I know I probably shouldn't, and I know that someone will probably shoot me down eventually, but until they do, why should I just maintain some gay position that I don't understand yet? Like, I should be wrong until someone can tell me why I'm right. It's not good to be right if you don't know why you're right. That's worse than
Yeah.
being wrong and understanding at least why you're wrong. I think there's something really interesting in that, and something really unorthodox about that. Like, most of society would disagree with that a lot, I think.
Well, it not only
Tonight,
disagrees,
at a
but
specific
I don't think
time,
most
like,
society has the psychological ability to see sides like that and be able to put on different masks of sides that they don't even agree with. Like
Yeah.
their brains can't
Most people
function
just
like
aren't
that.
fucking aware enough to analyze their own patterns enough to see that, like, I'm weirdly inconsistent, or why am I so consistent about that belief that I don't even fully understand? Like, most people don't even ever go
Yeah,
to
what people don't realize is like
that level one.
well, like when I see two sides and I don't agree with the other side, the reasons why I don't agree with it, like, or the reason why I don't like it, is because I can see why I could agree with it, and people don't realize that they see that they don't see that as a calling to
I would
agree
say
with
a
it. They
lot
just
of
see that.
my hatred does not come from like calling to agree with something. I would say it comes from more of a um recognition, recognition. I don't know how the fuck you'd say that. An awareness of the fact that that thing is stemming from the larger issue. So it's like, I don't know, like, if someone says that, like,
Well, I guess it's either I'm right or it's right, and if it's right, then I'm wrong, and I find that to be an issue.
well, I do think a lot of people's I think a lot of people do have that issue. I think well, I legitimately don't think I have that issue, but that does sound like I'm just deep throating myself. Dr. Otto Fellatio.
Well, I guess, like, even like, let's say there's a technical glitch. It's like either you're wrong about that and that's a normal thing and you should just expect that, or you're right. And the idea that that could just be a normal thing makes you angry.
Or it's almost like more like the idea that they are perceived as right by a majority of society is so damaging. I don't know, because I don't necessarily agree with what you're saying. Like, I can't. I guess what I'm trying to say is that if I put that lens over other people, I think that explains a lot of behaviors. If I put that lens over myself, I can't really think of times where that explains my behavior, and that could come from a degree of narcissism, of course. But I would argue, I would legitimately make the argument that it does not.
Yeah, perhaps.
Um, would you disagree though? I guess what I'm trying to say is, can you think of any of your actions that would fall under that um lens, or do you think that's a better lens for to explain other people's actions? What would you say?
Um, what specific point were we going over?
The concept that the dislike of another person's ideas could stem from the understanding that they could be correct. Like, I would say, if I get frustrated with someone's idea, my frustration is typically not stemming from. If anything, if I see like how incorrect they are, then I would be more likely to not get frustrated and just like look at them with more like pity and disgust.
Okay. But let's say you are angry about something, or
Yeah.
it's
Then
something that you disagree with.
yeah, then my anger is not coming from the possibility that they are correct. It's coming from the fact that the way that they are explaining to me why they are correct is not coherent, and that if they took those same exact arguments to explain their other behaviors, then they would not take those behaviors as justifiable. And now for some reason they're giving me the same justification that they wouldn't accept in any other facet of their life to explain why this is acceptable. And that's frustrating because you're clearly not seeing the larger pattern. You're clearly not abstracting at all, and like now you're making the onus on me to think for you. It's like you've now subsourced my energy to be your brain just because you can't fucking think and abstract for yourself. That's where most of my frustration would come from, I would say. It's like if someone argued with me and they said I'm not a vegan, and they said, and then I asked why, and then they said, well, I'm not a vegan because I'm not a vegan because and they gave some extremely religious and beautiful complex answer that's like, I think I should be eaten if someone could eat me, and I think all of life is just a will to power, and I think that God is just tasting thought textures, and that morality really doesn't exist in any meaningful way, and it's okay to murder you and murder my children, and it's okay for me to murder your children. There is no morality. If someone gave an answer like that, then I would be like, okay, I'm not mad at that. But then if someone gave me the answer that like, well, because they didn't even really alive, they can't talk to you. They don't even vote, so I think I can eat them. Yeah. Then it's just like, if I said it about your kid, would you like that? And they're like, that's unacceptable that you think that. And it's like, then now it's frustrating because now I have to explain to you somehow how retarded you are. And it's like, like, just fucking think, you idiot. Just abstract 1 degree. Look outside yourself for 1 moment and you'd clearly see it's incorrect. And now I have to somehow show you, I have to somehow make you look outside of your individual thought process. I have to somehow like show you this larger pattern that is so large that I have to somehow explain to you how that you thinking that is what affects politics, and that somehow there's a God, and that if you look at things through God, which is just the objective perspective, if you could abstract a framework, like now I somehow have to explain to you like everything. Like you're so dumb that I now have to explain to you the entire process of abstraction and objectivity. And it's like, do I need to be your teacher? Like, do I really need to sit down and explain to you why this is incorrect? Like that's where my frustration comes from, I find.
No, yeah, what you're saying makes sense.
But so yeah. Next message.
11:45 ish, or do we want to make that the next call?
It's as long as it's your 11:45 and not my 11:45. I'm good, but I like it'll be like a quick talk.
Is there any volume button on there?
Can you make it louder?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't look like there is.
What about on the computer?
No. Or maybe.
It's as long as it's your 11:45 and not my 11:45. I'm good, but
It's like
I
Jock
like
is
it'll be
loud,
like
but everyone else is like I can very barely hear.
So do you guys want to call back tonight at a specific time, like 11:45 ish, or do we want to make that the next call?
Was that good? I turned it up on the computer. Did that change it?
I think it sounded a bit better, but
Are you recording on your device as well?
yeah, on my phone.
Sweet. I'm surprised you haven't run out of storage yet, man. Damn.
Yeah, I'm sure that's bound to happen.
Yeah. So Maverick Ravenwood, such a fucking Wizard 101 ass name. I just got out of the shower. My thoughts on polygamy have changed. I do spurn relationships due to human incompatibility issues and our fault in being unable to recognize them. But I do think polygamy is a good experience for those involved, more so than monogamy, because the party can have different views on sexual taste, like if there were multiple men and multiple women in the ring. Plus, I like to envision the flow of love between no one and every person in the context of sex. I do believe that love isn't quite as strong as monogamy, simply because there isn't a necessity to be trapped into a relationship and have other factors like fear solidify your love through a single decision, marriage, simply because of the views that tend to coincide within the two terms, and that's what I think. Exclamation mark. Loved listening in on what I could. I wish Maverick Rainbow was still around. He was so smart and so interesting. Like, like it sounds like every time I talk about him, I feel bad because like if he was to hear a recording, then it would sound like I'm just dogging on him. But like he was legitimately one of the most fun people I've ever talked to. Like it was fantastic.
Yeah, and somehow he had some like weird interpretation of us that like I don't know where it came from.
Yeah, well, no, I do. That's the thing. I honestly think that Devin's interpretation of us is also very interesting. I think that Devin's interpretation of us is actually a relatively good steelman as to the opposition of us, and like he's the person who like told Jacques that like we're evil, and I mean, if you look at it from any moral perspective, frameworks are evil. I mean, they are the ungrounding of any truth and morality. And I like that is true. I think that's a very interesting counter argument that is really the only good counter argument, and I think even it falls apart under scrutiny, obviously. Or not, I wouldn't be where I am. But I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting counter argument, and I think he made it as good as you could from his weird perspective. And yeah, just a generally incredible person to talk to. It was never not interesting, and not from a like what an idiot perspective, but from a legitimately like what obviously weird, obviously what a weird perspective, but not weird and stupid, but weird and intelligent, which is what made it so fun to interact with. It was like the most bizarre spin you could possibly put while still being like, yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about. It was fucking interesting.
Yeah, I remember his philosopher King Delio's.
Yeah, talking to him about politics when Jacques left was the most awkward thing I've ever done in my entire life. I wanted that conversation to move anywhere, and I could not get it to. Oh my god. Um. So Ashton, where's your lightning poetry? You should put it in the Discord channel. When we thinking, boys. Can't today unless like tonight. What time tonight? Or actually, I don't have time today. Alrighty. Well, looking forward to tomorrow's call then. What time do you think you can call tomorrow? I'll let you know before I sleep. Sounds good, brother. Yeah. Apparently, jogging 6 miles with the equivalent of your body weight and strap-on weights actually begins destroying the human body. I do not recommend. I would imagine that sounds like torture. That's intense, Lamau. I could see using a few weights that could be beneficial, though but not too much. Damn, impressive. Devin, don't die yet. I can call like 6 or 5 around there. Your 6 works better for me. Damn, dude, we were all fucking, bro. We were all fucking. I was like healthy. I was fucking doing wrestling. All of us were fucking running. Oh my god, wonderful times. Your 6 works better for me. So our 7 sounds good. Actually, I can call whenever works best for everyone. I won't be able to call until maybe around like 9 or so. Why? And Jock, does that work for you? It's Ryan's birthday and we are hit the town, so at least 9. We might get back later, so I'm not sure when exactly. Probably not. What time today? The classic, the Ouroboros cycle of what time we calling today? Well, not today, maybe tomorrow. Anytime after like 3 or so works for me. Sounds good. All right, can everyone do 4 or Jock's 3? Let us know. Can you speak? I must consult you. It's of grave importance. Never mind, guys. I was caught in a fit of delusion. Forgive me. Rest in peace. Beginning of the end. 2:02. Damn. When can you call today, Jacques? Yeah, let's call today. That's the next thing we say. When can you call today? Just fucking don't even mention it. Yeah, let's call today. We need to discuss everything. It'll be a highly beneficial, memorable call, no doubt, that will help us all in the long run. I will probably be unable to call today, which sucks.
No.
Same day. But if you can call anytime today, let me know, and I'll let you know if I can. Well, that's the end of that chat. Wow. Did we never talk to him at his fit of delusion? Hell dimension. This is a chat I just had with myself. Video series story time. Important. Electric ocean equals vibe check plus in relation to God. That is such a cool note. Oh, that is such a cool note. Holy shit, that's gold.
Vibe check plus in relation to God.
God, that is nice. Wow, that's a pretty framework. That's simple. That's how they used to be. That's a really good like brute force 2-piece framework. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so simple.
Video idea, classic ideas, vibe check, mindset switching, and one more, ataraxy. Boom, that's another great one. Gold. Video series, vocabulary. That's interesting. Next call, finish paragraphs. Oh, finish something. No. We could never. Upload notes. Oh my god. Oh, here we are 2 years later. Record.
Here we are.
Different dimensions.
Series idea, history of philosophy.
Oh, no shit, retard.
Way to tie in tip of your tongue and mental flavor together. So it's like when you forget something and it's on the tip of your tongue, and then also mix that in with the mental flavor of letho.
So that's literally that's thought textures, right? That's the first time, or no? But thought textures were mentioned all the way a year ago, right? Because this is 22. So what the hell was I talking about? How is thought textures not
Flavor of letho.
letholothurgia or something? It was some scientific word I was saying. I don't know.
Palladian.
The only part that I knew was letho.
Way to tie in tip of your tongue and mental flavor together. So it's like when you forget something and it's on the tip of your tongue, and then also mix that in with the mental flavor of letho.
Lithiculaguba. I think, like I said, I think the only thing I actually knew was lithothergia. I don't know what scientific word even sounds like that. I don't think that one's salvageable, sadly.
Yeah,
It's
that's weird.
You shouldn't need them, but you know.
It's always weird whenever you start talking and I have to try to figure out which one's the voice message and which one's the real you. Like there's two
Yeah, I
clones
know.
standing in
I
front
had
of
that multiple times.
Able to fortification is good. That takes some time. Get drink, get beverages, get lots of water, store water in the room.
What the fuck?
Make sure you have your sweetness. Make sure you have your Sub-Zero. Make sure
Like
you
this
Oh,
one, I can barely hear.
it's funny. This is literally just sub one notes. I'm literally just saying, make sure you have your sleep mask. Make sure you.
That's awesome.
Unbiased framework. Very simple framework, but a useful one. Um, Typically, right, just a small example, like if I see a headline, and it's a headline like the one I just saw, which is a former U.S. president gets COVID. It's a headline that's specifically made to make you go, I wonder which president. It's a clickbait, right? And typically the reaction to something like that, like an ad strategy or marketing strategy, some sort of strategy that's meant to specifically work against the way that your mind works, typically we would view that as adversarial. So for instance, a regular person could look at that and think, God damn it, they're making me click on it. But there's a specific framework called the insider framework, which is one that I picked
Ooh,
up
that's
on,
so
which is
good.
you should always imagine yourself as the person who released that,
The
or as a
insider
journal.
framework.
Like, okay, so roughly, it's similar to imagining yourself as well, their career, but it's not always a career, so that's why it's the insider framework. Imagine yourself as them, but I don't mean them as in the person who wrote it specifically, but more the general idea of what you know of the person. So all I know about this person is that they wrote an article. Therefore, with the insider's framework, I would imagine myself as a journalist. I'd imagine myself writing the headline, and then I would understand from my personal perspective, and I would appreciate the effort put into that headline, and I would appreciate it as like in the same way a journalist would appreciate the headline, a fellow journalist, someone who also worked in the field would see the headline and be like, oh, that person didn't get a lot of clicks, good one. Whereas for me,
It's a
I also
genius
look at it
framework.
as that, even though I'm not a journalist. So it's a way to get the feeling of get look at everything as a win for you. It kind of goes along with non-dualism because you're looking at others as yourself, but it doesn't need non-dualism. You know what I mean? Like most non-dualist frameworks, which is what makes non-dualism so cool. Um, but we need to put everything in the group chat. We need to put every little framework in the group chat and start looking at them, being able to look at all of them to net a large list that we can make patterns out of.
Wonderful. That was wonderful.
So I heard it was you saw everything as a win for
That's all
yourself.
you heard? You can't turn it up anymore?
It's very low.
You seriously you can't turn it up anymore? Like you can't get on your PC and then like audio boost or something? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
you don't have a mic on your PC.
Yeah, you don't have a mic on the PC.
You got you gotta get a mic.
That's true.
Like I mean honestly at this point I would maybe just not get it for Christmas. Like for real. We need that really bad. Um
Yeah.
I mean I'd be shocked if you don't have some old mic laying around like from Ryan or from just like a pair of earbuds or a pair of headphones or borrow one of Ryan's pairs of headphones while he's using the other one or like I'd be actually shocked if you don't have any mic at all. I'm sure it's shitty for the meantime, but Anyways, that framework, it really sucks you couldn't hear that. That was a really good voice. I would want to play that again so you could listen back. Um, those were my like that was perfect. That was perfect. It was just a perfect encapsulation of that. Like, thank God. Oh, I thought no one was gonna be able to see how much of a fucking genius I was. Um,
Uh-huh.
back then, and thank God Foxer existed to preserve these little fragments. And we lost ones from before this, so I mean, there's even more of these little gems lost. But like, thank God some of this is like caught in amber to just prove.
Yeah.
Look, yes, it was here all along. No, I didn't waste all this time. No, 3 years didn't just go down the drain for absolutely nothing. No, it wasn't all wasted time. There are these little fragments that prove that it's been a building. It shows the bigger picture, the series, the progression from A to B. Thank God.
Yeah, we were doing something.
Thank Christ. Okay. But so you can't. There's no way for me to send it to you in a way where you'll hear it.
Um, like I just need to hold it up to my ear. And I didn't have it that close to when I was first hearing it. But like if you played it again, I would be able to hear it.
Does this work? Try that.
All right. Should I sign in on your account?
Okay, that's not even worth the time if you're gonna have to sign in every time. I guess just hold it up to your ear. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
okay. I'll play it again.
Insider framework, very simple framework, but a useful one.
You want me to just do commentary? Like, you want me to just read, like, say every line after I say it?
Uh, yeah. Do you try that? Yeah.
Typically, right? Just a
Insider
small
framework. It's
example.
basically
If
right.
I
Just a
see a
small
headline,
example, right? If
and
I
it's a
see
headline like the one I just saw,
a
which
headline,
is
it's a headline I
a
just saw,
former U.S.
which is
president gets
former
COVID.
U.S.
It's a
president
headline
has COVID.
specifically made to
It's a
make you
headline
go,
which is specifically made to
I
make you
wonder
go,
which
I
president.
wonder
It's a
which
clickbait,
president.
right? And typically the
It's
reaction
clickbait,
is something
right?
like
I
that,
mean,
like an ad
typically the
strategy or
reaction
marketing
to that.
strategy, some sort of strategy that's meant to specifically work against the way that your mind works. Typically, we would view that as adversarial. So, for instance, a regular person could look at that and think, God damn it, they're making me click on it. But there's a specific framework called the insider framework, which is one I picked up on, which is that you should always imagine yourself as the person who released that, or as a journal. Like, okay, so roughly.
Obviously, I lost fucking pace. I couldn't figure out how that connected, and then I couldn't catch up after I figured out. Can you hear it? Could you hear it after I stopped talking though?
Yeah. Yeah. The
Okay.
insider framework.
Okay. All right. So I'll go back just a little bit and then press play.
Okay, so roughly, it's similar to imagining yourself as well, their career, but it's not always a career, so that's why it's the insider film. Like imagine yourself as them, but I don't mean them as in the person who wrote it specifically, but more the general idea of what you know of the person. So all I know about this person is that they wrote an article. Therefore, with the insider's framework, I would imagine myself as a journalist. I'd imagine myself writing the headline, and then I would understand from my personal perspective, and I would appreciate the effort put into that headline, and I would appreciate it as like in the same way a journalist would appreciate the headline, a fellow journalist, someone who also worked in the field would see the headlines like, oh, that person's been getting a lot of clicks, good one. Whereas for me, I also look at it as that, even though I'm not a journalist. So it's a way to get the feeling of get look at everything as a win for you. It kind of goes along with non-dualism because you're looking at others as yourself,
Yeah,
but
man. Yeah.
it doesn't need non-dualism. You know what I mean? Like most non-dualism, which is what makes non-dualism so cool. Um, but
So wasn't that incredible?
Yeah. Yeah, and that kind of goes back to what we were talking about, like just seeing things from different perspectives, which most people just can't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so tight and neat, and Vox are so nice because it's like in 2 minutes that was like a beautiful video. Like that's such a beautiful idea, and then and now like that little 2 minute segment. Now we just stretch that out into 10 minutes and make it a better explanation for other people instead of just ourselves. And like
Yeah.
it's so fucking good. Jesus.
structure site, a specific visual framework that happens to the
pure awareness and sight you get from Buddhist awareness too. Like clear sightedness, central structure sight.
What I said there was like it's a vision framework. It was like a visual framework that happened as a symptom of electric ocean, and then some other framework which I didn't hear. And I said it could also be a symptom of Buddhist awareness. It is like a visual that is like your field of view is being expanded. Like it's like your vision is opening up. That's true. That I mean that still happens. It's weird.
Like the FOV changes.
Yeah. Electric ocean big talk. There is no perception structure to dissolve thoughts into. That leads to Shinigami eyes. Shinigami eyes is the perception structure entirely. Thought texture disintegration is the quickest form of deconstruction. Okay, I didn't understand any of that, but I know it was good. There is no perception structure to dissolve thoughts into. That leads to Shinigami eyes. Shinigami eyes is the perception structure entirely. Thought texture disintegration is the quickest form of deconstruction. I need a little bit more on that one.
What do you mean by quickest form of deconstruction? In my view, I see deconstruction as the other side of the coin to disintegration, where deconstruction is deconstructing the contents of reality, while disintegration is deconstructing the perceptions of reality. So it's left brain and right brain, experience and expression. I don't know if it's disintegration is not a form of deconstruction. It's disintegration is one. There's disintegration and there's deconstruction. Both one side, one the other.
Well, can you explain that?
Yeah. Uh. So disintegration was supposed to be more of like focusing on the thought textures, like
So
if
you're
you're having
saying
like
deconstruction is what leads to disintegration, right?
yeah. So deconstruction was supposed to be like that was like the first thing we ever discovered, and I was like, all right, so if you looked at a car, you can deconstruct that and realize, bro, it's like not really a car. It's just like made up of pieces and stuff, and that all these things can be
Well, and then
deconstructed.
also deconstruction was a part of the Buddhists. The Buddhists would do that too, where they would deconstruct thoughts from awareness.
Yeah. And of course they had that word and we figured that out too. And but then we used the word disintegration and I thought it had a particular connotation of not necessarily the concepts of reality, but actually the thought textures of reality. And so like instead of just it would
Disintegration
be like
wouldn't be a form of deconstruction, but deconstruction will be the process that resulted in disintegration.
yeah. Yeah. And it would be like what we called orbifying
So the way
and
I
all that
would
stuff.
view that is and the way I was what I was saying here was that thought texture disintegration was like a framework where like thought texture disintegration is the idea of hitting everything, like where you could do a form of deconstruction which is like I'm a Buddhist and I'm thinking about this thought and this thought is a thought and the fact that I'm thinking about this thought is you could do it like that, or you could do thought texture disintegration, which is literally you just like you it's like it feels like you're pointing at something and then it just explodes into flames. Like you're just like it's like instant. It's, you literally you look at something in your brain. You just go, that's a thought texture, and then the word just fall away and you're just left with the thought texture. And it's like you instantly obliterated the form. And it's like that's what like deconstruction was trying to do. So it's like there are different forms of deconstruction. You could deconstruct like a Buddhist, or you could deconstruct like a non-dualist, or you could deconstruct like a solipsist, or however you wanted to do it. But they're all forms of
Or you
deconstruction.
and also like deconstruct like I always saw like just the manual frameworks of like I don't know seeing the world building of reality, like history or architecture or existence and the different narratives of life are not necessarily thought textures, but they're concepts. So that would be deconstruction. And just as a general idea, I always thought it would be like good like kind of training wheels for people to understand like those two ideas.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Buddhist awareness and deconstruction. I always said they are like The best beginner tool ever.
What do you mean by quickest form of deconstruction? In my
Bro, my fucking brand new cart, man. Literally a few days old. You can barely fucking see the goddamn use in the top of it. And it's broken. It's fucking broken. It's shattered into a million pieces. And it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. I have no clue how it would be shattered. It defies all logic. It was perfectly fine. I set it down. It wasn't like it was in my pocket. It was set down on the ground. I tossed it. Like it was a faint toss to get it set down, but it was inside of a cushioned package. And it's like, I've seen them go through so much worse. Like, it makes no sense. And it was obliterated. And the funniest part is, there was another one. The old one was also in the package. They were both in there. And yet only the new one exploded. The old one is fine. A-okay. Fucking infuriating. But luckily, because it didn't make any sense for it to be shattered, it wasn't shattered as in glass fell off. All the glass managed to stay intact. It was all just broken. So what I managed to do was just push it back together and then seal it with saran wrap and then put metal tape over the saran wrap to keep it all perfectly in place. But now it's just, God, good googly moogly. That is unbelievably frustrating. Right before go time. God damn. God damn. I guess at least it didn't happen during. That would have sucked. God. Yeah. Ugh. Fuck.
So I was about to do sub 1. I said it's right after we go time. Dude, that's so funny to listen back to. Oh, that's so funny. Oh my god, I remember that so vividly. Dude, I'm gonna die of cancer at like 30. We better get writing because saran wrap, metal tape, holy shit. But I did have to do that. Oh my god. That sucked so bad. Jesus.
Yeah, wait, so I missed the first part. What broke?
A cart. I said there are 2 of them. I faintly tossed it to set it down. There are 2 of the
Yeah.
brand new one broke and the old one didn't. It
Were
makes
they
no
glass
sense.
ones or are they like the regular
Yeah, they were
tube ones?
the old glass ones. But dude, we took the old glass ones and we threw them downstairs. We kept them in our pocket. We sat on top of them. We fucking fought with them in our pocket. I mean, we might as well have smashed them with hammers. But the idea that 2 of them
Yeah,
just
I definitely know that, and even the dispensary ones, most of them are pretty good. But there's one brand that I noticed that had a like a blue tip, and it was like consistently like 3 of them broke.
that's
So like
horrible.
sometimes they're just funky.
Yeah, well, yeah, for me. It was the same brand every time for 2 years. They were called Glows, and the fact that one of them broke right before sub 1 was absolutely. There's no explanation other than God smiting me. Like
Yeah.
that only ever happened that one time for the entire 2 years that I
Do you
did them.
remember like delaying it and having to do it later?
What do you mean?
Or did you delay the sub
Oh
one
no,
experience?
no! I saran wrapped, metal taped it, and got down to business.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. I sent you a Turkey Tom video. Like,
Hey, wake up! It just got way worse. No problem. Don't care. Don't have a problem. This is today's philosophy. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Dark Channel. I'm your host, Tom Dark, and today we will be, or rather, I will be, taking time recording today. Let's say we're doing talking about the internet, the world in general. Okay, we'll be discussing life, philosophy, and lifestyle choices I made. I'm sure you guys take. Maybe try that. Maybe we'll help you with all this trying time.
that's fine. He's a pretty decent YouTuber. He's a little retarded, and cringe. Oh, that's interesting. I said worldview of the average person. Yeah, very true. Turkey Tom is another one of those channels that is like, a perfect window. It's like watching like white women TikToks and just like doing it with your jaw
Yeah.
dropped, where it's just like, man, this is really what just most people are like.
The dock, this setting that's reoccurred in my dreams. It's several restaurants on a continuous dock.
Oh, that's weird. Holy fucking shit.
You look to your left and this is the ocean, and then you look to your right, and there's just a continuous line of restaurants. And we went to the restaurant at the end of the dock, which was an ice cream parlor. And we were making jokes successfully, and everything was going fine. And then some bitch that talked to us specifically about our structured jokes and said that we were being too witty. And then we stopped that, and then we instantly become hated by those same people in the shop, the ice cream workers. And those supposedly could be a lesson in, like, don't be funny, be smart. Who knows? Fun dream.
Did you hear that?
It was very mumbly.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I literally just woke up and then went back to sleep after making that voice message. That was literally me waking up out of a dream, making a voice message, and going back to sleep. I said, repeated dream scenery, and this is true. My most common dream sceneries are Great Wolf Lodge, Kings Island, those two by a landslide, and also water parks. For some reason, just amusement parks in general. Most of my nightmares, and even just vivid dreams, even if they're not technically nightmares, they all take place in one of those places. Water parks, Great
That's
Wolf
fun. I
Lodge.
know. I know people on the internet always talk about amusement parks and water parks
Yeah.
in their dreams.
Yeah, they are always the source of my. And this is another reoccurring place I talked about, which is the docks, which is it's just this like on my left there's the ocean and there's a boardwalk, and then on the right of the boardwalk there's just different stores. So like you can walk into one store and there's like sunglasses, and then you go to the store that's right beside, like a strip mall kind of deal, but it's like a continuous strip mall along a boardwalk, and there's the ocean to your left and the shops are on the right, and it's like it just goes on forever. It's a sprawling boardwalk, and for some reason that's a reoccurring thing in nightmares. I've had to fight on the boardwalk. I've gotten a social interaction with the boardwalk. Where this one was a dream where um I was in a shop and I was making really funny jokes and everyone was laughing at them. And then someone said you're being too witty, which pointed out the fact that my jokes were structured, and then everyone instantly hated me and my jokes weren't funny. And I said that my opinion was that meant that the dream meant don't be funny, be smart, which I don't know what that means. But yeah, weird, cool voice message.
Don't be funny, be smart. That's funny.
You betcha. Oh, I should go down.
Isn't that kind of like what you learned at work though? Is like don't try and be crazy, just like just get it done.
I don't know. I would say that's the lesson that I embodied when I worked there. I wouldn't say that was the lesson I learned, because if anything, I feel like I should have had a lot more fun at work and just been like, dude, I don't care if I get fired from Walmart. Like, fuck it, fire me, you dumb bitch. Like, you need me. You need me. I'm one of your best workers. If you can't see that, then fucking fire me. I don't care.
Yeah, I always thought it was funny whenever I quit. Like they were telling me how, like everyone was telling me how I was like one of the best guys and stuff, and I had no conception of that before. So I had like no idea like how good I was doing. But then I said I'm done, and they're like, bro, you're like our top, you're like one of our top dudes. And it was like, oh, I wish you had told me that before.
Yep, for me, for some reason, I only got that from the other fucking employees who were gonna have to pick up my slack, but not my fucking manager, because my fucking manager
Yeah.
had no fucking idea how hard his employees worked. Stupid fucking piece of shit. I wish Orca would eat his fucking kidney.
Yeah, I wonder what he's up to these days. Finding new employees to torment.
Dude, I hope someone fucking drops a couple pallets on that guy.
A
Jesus.
couple milk jugs.
Yeah, dude, for real. I hope someone milk jugs the fuck out of that guy. VR analogy for Phantom, camera analogy for Phantom, re-record Phantom explanations. So right here, right there, that's about 1 year ago, because I'm looking at 2022-03. So wait, have we went through a full year of voice messages? Didn't we start at 2101? I think we
I would
did.
think so, yeah.
And now we're in 0322. We've gone a full year forward. We've already missed this is the first failed video recording. VR analogy for Phantom, camera analogy for Phantom, re-record Phantom explanations. Damn, that was the most brutal. That right there set us back a year.
That was like the burning of Alexandria.
For real. It was the perfect video. The perfect video at the perfect time, and we lost it, and it just made me just give up. Like, I was just like, maybe God doesn't even want us to do anything. Like, I mean, really, I was seriously thinking that after we lost that video, because it was like, it was so rare that like, I could speak that well back then. Like, it was so rare that everything came together in a way that we could get 4 hours of time, and that we were both in the perfect mindset, and that we were both able to talk about it, and that we both had enough time before the weeks where we could focus on our frameworks enough to be in that state. And like all of the factors that were necessary to get that video, they just couldn't be replicated. I knew there was no way they could be replicated for months, and that video was going to be the beginning of all of our other videos. It was the video that I needed to get started. I mean, it was literally, that video would have been the kickstart to our channel a year ago if it got recorded. And losing it just made me just like give up for like a month or two. It was terrible. record training wheel explanation. And then Trevor, you say silence. I don't even remember what like phantom is really. I understand that it's like the idea of going out of your body, so I'm assuming it's like stepping back, similar to slingshot. So honestly, I think I kind of get it. VR analogy, so it's like looking through VR goggles because you're like God. Okay, I kind of get it, but I don't get it like I do some other frameworks where it's like I completely understand it. This is more just like I think I get the gist based on the language I'm using. Okay. Let's see.
The most important thing that we lost, and the shit that sucks the most, isn't the examples. It's the conversation of how we got there. It's specifically the nuances of us figuring out the difference between training wheels and phantom. For me, trying to recapture that. Because whenever we were describing it, remember we couldn't find a difference, and then finally we understood. Finally understood the difference between the training wheels and the thought texture, and the fact that you got to just find the thought texture. To me, that is easily the most important thing that we lost. Because that was going to be the perfect catalyst. But we got to try and recapture that magic somehow.
Brutal.
Mhm.
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just outside, and apparently that blinked out the Wi-Fi.
So you can hear that one.
No, I was trying to answer your question, and then I guess that happened.
What question were you answering?
What was Phantom?
Oh, I didn't hear any of that.
Oh, it was like what you're saying, slingshot.
You're glitching out.
Um, what is,
You're
but
glitching
it
out.
was the ancient version of that, and it
You're
was
glitching out. You're glitching out.
no. Well, on inside that was quite strange. Am I still looking out?
You are. I think you're gonna have to hang up and reconnect.
Okay.
Hello?